Very good. Well, I'd like to welcome everyone to our session today. We have Susan Schlegel, Richa Sharma, and Dan Cox as your presenters today. Susan is a business value specialist, and Richa and Dan are technology specialists, and they all serve our state and local government customers. And we have many government customers today leveraging our case management capabilities in Dynamics 365. Today, we'd like to both demonstrate and highlight the business value from our more advanced capabilities like omni-channel engagement, knowledge, co-pilot, AI-powered insights, and unified routing, so that you can continue to optimize your service delivery. There isn't hiding the fact that government organizations today are being asked to cut costs, right? And increase efficiencies, do more with less. So today we will show you how you can achieve these goals. Now, we aim to provide a digital event today that respects all individuals. So we ask that everyone assist in providing a welcoming and safe environment. We do bring 3 of these events to our customers each month. So if you have a topic you would like us to consider in our schedule going forward, please drop that in the chat today for consideration. And to minimize any distraction or background noises, we do have the lines muted, but go ahead and leverage the chat for any questions that you might have, and we will get those answered for you. If we have time at the end, we will certainly open up the mics for live Q&A as well. And lastly, again, I will send out the recording and the deck from today's presentation to you all on Monday. You'll receive that from devictor@microsoft.com. If you don't wish to receive those in the future, just go ahead, reply back, and I'll take you off that list. So with that, I am going to turn it over to our presenters, Susan, Richa, and Dan. Thank you so much for bringing this topic to our customers today.
Great, thanks, Deb. Like Deb said, I am Susan Schlegel. I am part of the business value management team. I'm an economist. This team was started about 10 years ago to help customers identify what the economic value would be of inserting a technology into their existing systems. So what we're here to talk about today is why moving from traditional case management system to Dynamics 365 customer service represents a significant upgrade in efficiencies, improvements in citizen satisfaction, and overall operational performance. So with a lot of the traditional case management systems and the legacy case management systems, they're heavily dependent on manual processes, disjointed tools, and outdated data entry methods. And that results in slow response times, fragmented communications, high case volumes, and increased operational costs. So the way we've structured this presentation, we're going to go over the 5 major value areas. I'm going to show you what are the main features that are delivering that value, and the KPI improvements that are associated with those, and then show you a demo of some of those features. And then I'm going to go over a business value realization case for a large health and human services organization and show a live case study. And then I'll hand it back to Deb. So if you want to move to the next slide, Deb. So like I said, our KPIs are grounded in real world case studies and this Forrester TEI study that was conducted in March of 2024. So Forrester interviewed a group of large enterprises, and like many public service agencies, they had outdated, disconnected systems, and they had rising customer service costs and rising customer service demands. So their challenges were all very similar. They had siloed data, long resolution times, and high operating costs. And then after moving to Dynamics customer service, what they saw was a 40% drop in average handling time, a 20% improvement in call resolution, big reductions in case volume, and thanks to automation and AI, they had a noticeable boost in customer satisfaction. And so while the study focused on private companies, the lessons absolutely carry over to the public sector and public service areas, because at the end of the day, all high volume customer service centers face the same core challenges. They need to route inquiries effectively, resolve issues quickly, and provide a consistent, high-quality customer experience across all the channels. And the tools that make that possible, automation, self-service, AI, and unified data, apply just as much to the public sector as they do to any business. So if we move on to the next slide, we'll start with the first major area that we're going to talk about: reduced case volume. So from the TEI study, we know that the recipients achieved a 20% improvement in first call resolution and a 15% reduction in misrouted calls, and up to a 40% improvement in full automation of cases. So generally, what we see with traditional case management systems is that there is a heavy reliance on manual processes and in-person interactions, and that results in high case volumes. There's limited use of self-service options, and that forces residents to go to agents for even minor or repetitive issues. And there's poor first-time resolution rates, which also increases recurring cases and higher workloads. So the three features we're going to focus on for reduced case volume are better knowledge access and suggested responses. And what those do is they help agents resolve issues the first time. Channel shift and automated case deflection. So when we introduce chatbots and self-service portals, it allows residents to solve cases themselves without going to an agent. And finally, omni-channel engagement. So that streamlines communications and minimizes the need for repeat contacts, and that also reduces overall case volume. So I'm going to hand it over to Risha, and she's going to give you a demo of some of these features.
Right, it'll be good if I unmute myself. So going off of Susan's points, I'd like to showcase just how providing access to knowledge articles, improving self-service options, and then also encouraging multi-channel engagement can help with reducing case volume. And so in my demo, in my demo, I'm going to be a resident of a state, and I'm interested in becoming a foster parent. I've always had this dream, and previously I've been deterred from the application process because it just took so long for me to get an answer back. But recently I've heard that there are now self-service options, so I'm going to try again. So I'm here on this portal that is designed for self-service. So I come in here and try to learn more about what it takes to be a foster parent. So the first thing I see is I'm not even logged in, but I have information that says, how to get started on your foster parent journey. There's knowledge base articles available for me to review. I can create a case. I can also contact somebody if I wanted to. First, I'm going to go ahead and look into the knowledge base sources. And then here I see that there's a few different articles that are available for me. So the first thing I can do as a potential foster parent interested in this application process is see if some of the questions I have, maybe there's already an answer. So I can go into the FAQ and look through what has been provided. And if this has what I'm looking for, great. I don't actually need to pick up a call or go into an office and ask questions. But maybe I don't have enough time to even go through and read this entire article or go through all the different articles available to me. It would be nice if there is maybe a bot that I could interact with. So here on the bottom right, I see that there is a bot available. It says, "Hi, I'm Foster Application Assistant. How can I help you today?" So here, without me logging in, I'm going to start asking a question, and I'm going to ask as if I'm speaking to a person. So I don't have the experience where I'm clicking a button to go down a path. I could have that experience if I wanted to, but here I'm just going to say, what is the criteria to be a foster parent? So I'm asking a question using natural language, and then I'm going to wait for the bot to provide me with a response. So this bot has been set up in the back end to look at a particular data sources that I have fed it. And so it's pulling it answers from whatever knowledge source I wanted to pull from. So here it says, to be a foster parent, you must meet the following criteria, and it lists it out for me. And then within this, there's also references so that I can double check where is this information coming from, and I can click into it and see if it matches what I'm looking for. So when Susan was talking about the ability to do self-service, we see that we have access to knowledge-based articles, and then we also have the ability to interact with a chatbot and get some information. Let's say this is, the information I'm looking for, and now I'm ready to get started. So I'm going to go in to the Get Started page, where the self-service portal has been set up with all the steps I need to follow. And then here I'll say, okay, I've done this, I've done that, I'm ready to apply. So I'll click into I'm ready to apply, and it takes me to a login page. So this is where you can set up the self-service experience to be different depending on whether a user is logged in or not. So far I've not been logged in, and I still have the ability to access general information. But now that I'm ready to take on that next step and put in that application, I'm required to sign in. And because I already have a username and password, I'm going to go ahead and sign into this. And then this is done through the Power Pages authentication system. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. And now that I'm logged in, on the top right, it recognizes me as Emily Johnson, the person who logged in. And now I also have access to the application information as well, the form itself. So previously, as a non-logged in person, I didn't have this access. And then if I click into this bot too, the bot now recognizes me as Emily Johnson. I'm no longer a blank name. So I'm going to go ahead and, just for the sake of this, go ahead and fill out, I would like to be a foster parent, respond, fill out a few things, and then hit next. So again, previous experience could have been where I was required to make sure I had the right documentation and it's a manual process. So the form, I'm writing it out and then submitting it. But here I can actually just send the information over through this digital approach. So here I can add my references, and I'll just go ahead and hit submit now. So when I hit submit, all the information that I provided gets created automatically, gets turned into a case. So the state agency, the caseworkers within the agency, get the information I provided automatically into their Dynamics 365 customer service. There's no room for error because they're not looking to make sure that what I provided matches. It's the same system, so what I filled out gets sent over, and they don't have to do any double work or double checking. And me as the parent who's looking for updates on my case that I've just submitted, I can go again, log in, go into the support page, and then see all the different cases, which you can see I've created a few. I can go in and see what the status is on it, and check to see if there's any comments that have been added, or if there's been any request for more information. So then I can go in, add a comment, attach any files, and this gets again sent directly over to the customer service side, so caseworkers get this information. So it really cuts down on the time, and I didn't interact with any person. All I did was self-service here. So here again, I didn't pick up a phone call, but there might be some scenarios where somebody wants to actually get on a phone call, and let's see if there's any kind of self-service options if you're on a phone call. So here we have the application has been sent in, and now as the foster parent applicant, I am looking to get a status update. So again, I have the option of checking my status in the self-service portal, or I can pick up a call, phone, and then see if I can get any kind of answers. So prior to even having to speak to an agent, I'm going to get welcomed by an IVR bot. And then you'll see that instead of it being kind of a robotic experience where it says press 1 for option A, press 2 for option B, you can actually use natural language and say, hey, I'm looking for an application status update. Can you give me more information? So I'm going to go ahead and hit play. And if you don't hear a sound, let me know, Microsoft team.
Hello. Thank you for calling 211 Idaho Resident Care Line. This call will be recorded for quality assurance purposes. Please note that our menu options have changed. In your own words, please tell me how I can help today.
I applied to be a foster parent a few weeks ago and I haven't heard back. I'd like to get an update on the status of my application.
Thank you for applying to be a foster parent. We can easily check the status of your application over the phone. We will need to collect your social security number, driver license number or identification number, and case number that was provided to you during the application process. Do you have necessary information to continue?
I do.
Thanks. May you please provide your case number?
My case number is CWGSG1.
Great. Can you provide me your driver license or identification number, please?
Yeah, my driver's license is D4328976.
Thanks. To confirm, did I hear D4328976?
Yes.
Great. Can you please provide me the last 4 of your social security number?
I can. 4277.
Please allow me a moment to look up the status of your case. Thank you for your application. We wanted to inform you that your application has been assigned to a foster care specialist and is currently under review. This process typically takes 5 to 7 business days and was assigned on February 20th, 2025. Once your application is reviewed, your assigned foster mentor will reach out by a phone call or email to set up an in-person interview. This is the most up-to-date information available. Is there anything else I can help you with today?
That will be all. Thank you for the update.
So
Thank you for calling. Goodbye.
all right, so that's the end of that video, but in that you can tell that as a foster parent who's interested in a status update, they were interacted with the bot, provided a few of the required information to make sure that the bot is pulling information that's relevant to this particular applicant, and then they got a status update and an idea of what the next steps would be. So this again cuts down on actually the parent having to wait for a person to get back to them. So with that, Susan, I'm going to hand it back over to you. And then I'll let you take over.
Thank you. Okay, so this next major area of benefit, employee productivity gains. So what we know from the study is that AI-driven workflows, Copilot, and Power Platform integrations allow better routing, knowledge access, and that resulted in an overall 20% improvement in productivity gains. And that's even after what we call a 50% reduction in productivity recapture. So that's initially it's 40%, but we only assume that half of that time will be spent doing other case work. So from legacy case management systems, where they're typically starting with is caseworkers are bogged down with repetitive tasks and manual data entry. There's limited collaboration tools that make it difficult to work across teams and even across multiple teams when they need to coordinate. Onboarding processes tend to be slow. There's inconsistent training and inconsistent knowledge sharing. And so the three features that we're going to focus on in this one are automated workflows. And so those automated workflows reduce repetitive tasks, and that frees up caseworkers to do more complex cases rather than the routine cases. Translation tools and knowledge automation. So that enables more effective communication with non-English speaking residents, and that also accelerates onboarding. An AI-powered assistance, which provides agents with real-time guidance and enhanced decision-making that also improves productivity. If we move on to the next major area, reduce case resolution time. Right. So we know from the study that those organizations saw a 40% reduction in average handling time, and that was about 468 hours per agent, and ended up with 8.9 million in productivity gains. And so legacy case management systems are generally starting with fragmented data systems, and that has slow data retrieval, inconsistent case management practices. Caseworkers spend excessive time searching for information and summarizing previous interactions, and SLA compliance is inconsistent, and that leads to frustration and delayed resolutions. So the 3 features we're going to focus on, well, actually 4 here, knowledge search and case summarization. That speeds up the retrieval of relevant information and simplifies complex case histories. Service level agreements, that automates tracking and ensures timely follow-ups, and that improves compliance and case resolution. And finally, timeline highlights, and those provide better historical context, and that allows agents to make more informed decisions quickly. And so let's see a demo of some of these features.
All right. Richard, do you want to take it to the improving resident satisfaction? And then I'll carry on with the videos on the case. Susan, do you want to talk to this slide real quick?
Oh, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to improving resident satisfaction, what we know from the study is that net promoter scores were improved by 1.1 points due to faster personalized support. And that was essentially powered by AI chatbots and agent assist features. So traditional case management studies, systems, they're typically relying on basic reactive feedback mechanisms like surveys or complaint logs. Communication tends to be fragmented across emails, phone calls, in-person visits, and that makes it hard to capture a unified picture of resident satisfaction. There's limited or no AI-driven sentiment monitoring, which means agencies often respond to problems after they escalate. So the 3 features we're going to focus on here are AI-based suggested responses, and those reduce response times by 15% by providing pre-written, contextually relevant replies. And that leads to faster, more accurate, and consistent interactions. Omnichannel support, live chat, and chatbots. Those tend to increase satisfaction by 20% because it allows residents to engage through web, mobile, and social media channels. And that convenience and accessibility naturally results in more positive experiences. And finally, AI-driven sentiment monitoring. So that provides a 12% improvement in sentiment tracking, and that helps agencies proactively identify negative experiences and address them before they can escalate.
All right, thanks, Susan. So I'm going to take you really quickly just through 3 different examples of how there's expanded capabilities within Dynamics 365 customer service that you can take advantage of. Now, the assumption here is that you've already had some experience with the case management capabilities that are provided out of the box, but let's look at how customer service can help drive some of this satisfaction. So just to set the stage, as you can see, we have Dynamics 365 open here, and we're actually opened up to a particular case, right? In this particular case, this case is for Angela Nicholson. And let's just take a look at what we've got here. So Rich, if you go ahead and hit play on the video here. Now you'll notice that right out of the gate, as it loads, I'm just going to take a look at some examples in the case. So first off, down at the bottom here, we've got the description, and this is what Angela had actually logged as a concern that she had. Let me just take myself off the screen so it gets a little bigger. Now, right out of the gate, you can see that Copilot over on the right-hand side has actually taken the content that was provided in that description and has already created a starter prompt here. Go ahead and hit play, Rich, if you would. I think it paused there. Excellent. So it's going to generate an answer for us, and you can see that just by using the context of the case that was already in place, it's able to come up with a starter prompt for me. It's able to even create an answer that is salient to this particular case. So you can see in this particular case, it gives me not only information about what I need to do, but even phone numbers of where I should call and times of day that I can actually reach out to that service center. Additionally, I can even check the sources of where that information came from. right? So really quickly and easily, I'm able to, as soon as I open up a case and start working with a customer, see exactly what sort of information I might want to provide as a resolution. And further down here, you can see there's other prompts that I can carry on with. In fact, I even have the ability, if I want to choose one of those instantly, or as you'll see down at the bottom here, I can even describe my own need here. So in this particular case, I'm just going to hand enter a question that I have because I think the customer might have this concern as well. So I'm simply going to type in that I want to see how early I want to make a wheelchair reservation, right? What time do I need to do that? Because perhaps this customer is not familiar with the process. I'm not sure as a customer service agent that I know exactly the answer for that particular question, but I want to be well equipped. So I can go in and I can actually enter in the text here. And you'll see that once I click on enter, once I type in the question here, it's actually going to go through and it's going to generate an answer for me. So once again, without me having to go off and search some other knowledge source, all that information is here provided by Copilot, and the information that it's providing is grounded on the information that I provided. Now it's answered that question, and it doesn't stop there, right? Once again, you can also see that while I have the information I'm looking for, I even have more starter prompts where I can continue to drill down and get more and more information. So as an example, is there a fee for wheelchair assistance? That sounds like one I might want to know the answer to as well. So I'm going to go ahead and ask that. Copilot will generate the answer for me. And now I feel like I'm well equipped to take advantage of the knowledge sources that are available to me as a customer service rep. But that's not all, right? So while I have been able to take advantage of all the information that Copilot is offering here on the right-hand side, you'll also notice that I've got case summarization here, right? So I know that I'm dealing with this case, but I just want to get a summary, right? And at a moment glance as to what has been happening. And I can let Copilot generate that for me. Additionally, it's not just the case summary itself that I can take advantage of, but I can also take advantage of the timeline. So if you look just below the summary area, you'll notice that there is a timeline in here. And as a part of that, I also have a highlights area here. So if I don't want to, as a customer service rep, go through and read every interaction that has happened on the timeline, I can hit the highlights button here and Copilot will do that for me. Copilot will generate an explanation of exactly what has happened to date so that I can already be up to date as I begin to interact with this customer. So really valuable to be able to cut down on a lot of the time that I would otherwise be spending digging for answers myself. All right. So let's go ahead and go to the next slide here. So that was in the case record itself, right? But let's take that a step further. We are still here back at our case record, but I just want to take a look and see what a possibility is for using it within email itself, right? So go ahead and hit play for me, Richa. All right, so we are back here at our case record, right? We can see all the information. We can see that we've got the Copilot summary and so forth. If I want to add a new activity, I'm actually going to decide that I want to write an email to the customer. Now this is going to take me over to the new email screen, and I'm going to enter in a subject. I just want a bit more information, so I'll type that into the subject line. And you'll see that I've got draft with Copilot, and then I've got a section below it. Now I could write my own response to this email if I wanted to, but as you can see, Copilot is offering me sort of interactions that I can create, or I can provide information to Copilot to derive that email for me. I'm going to click on Need More Information, and that easily you can see that it generated an email for me. I can choose to keep it. I can discard it. I can even adjust things like the length or the tone. And my personal favorite is, in addition to being able to change the tone or change the length of the email, the really valuable thing for my customer service reps is I have the ability to translate. So just that easily, you can see here's a list of all of the languages that are available out of the box. Now, I'm going to choose Spanish for this particular one. And there we have our same email drafted in Spanish. If everything looks good there, then I can just click keep it. And now it's ready to go. Now, I don't have to do it just in that one spot. You'll notice over on the right-hand side, that Copilot pane is still there. So if I want to choose that I want to empathize with feedback, once again, Copilot quickly generates this for me. Now I can read the details of the email. I can even add some details down at the bottom, but if I like it, I'll click copy. You'll see it copies it over into the email box and I'm ready to send it, right? So really easy to be able to empower your customer service reps to get the answers quickly to the customers, not only in with the details of the information that they need, but even in the language that they prefer, right? That's definitely going to help with resident satisfaction there. All right, and we've got one more case. So Richa, if you'll go to the next slide here. Now this one is one that's very near and dear to my heart. I personally love this capability. So this is one of our, to me, most advanced cases of using Dynamics Customer Service. And this is a capability we call Contact Center. Now there are tons of capabilities inside of this, and we could spend literally days going through all the features of this, but I just want to show you how you can actually take advantage of Copilot in here as well. So Richard, go ahead and start the video if you would. Now, I have called in, right, as a customer, and I have been calling into the call center. I'm waiting in line for a response. And now this customer service rep has Contact Center Workspace open, and they're ready to perform their work. Now you'll see up in the top right-hand corner, I've got a little green indicator here to show that I'm present, right? I've made myself available for any incoming calls, and oh, there's a voice pop, right? So I see that I'm getting a voice call that is from Andrew Palmer. I can see that it's escalated from my voice agent. And so if I accept that call, I'm now opening up his record. Now you can see that based on the caller ID, I've already mapped to that particular customer. I can see information about the customer. I can see the timeline. In fact, on the left-hand side, I can even see the transcription of the interaction between the chatbot, the voice bot, and the customer. So I'm not going in cold. You can see the blue bubble here is where I'm actually responding, letting them know that as an agent, I'm ready to help. And I can see that that customer has given me back a response. Now, right out of the gate, you'll notice that up at the top here, the sentiment has actually automatically adjusted from neutral down to slightly negative, right? We're not entirely sure that the customer is in a happy place. And so we get that visual indicator that as we're having this conversation, we want to take a different tone. Once again, I've got Copilot on the right here where it can answer questions that I have for myself as I'm working with the customer in real time. And if I like everything there, I can provide that information to them. And here, as the call concludes, you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, I have a Copilot conversation summary, right? So it summarizes the entire call dialogue that happened between me and this customer. So lots of value for you to be able to take advantage of, again, with no effort on your side. It just enhances your experience with customer service. All right, well, I want to save some time for everything else, so I'll hand it back over to you. Susan?
Great, thanks, Daniel. So we've got two major value areas left to review. So operational cost reduction. So from the study, we know that retiring legacy systems after implementing customer service yielded about $978,000 in infrastructure and license cost savings over 3 years. So with legacy systems, typically they're maintaining multiple disconnected systems, and that leads to high infrastructure costs and inefficiencies. There tends to be an over-reliance on third-party systems, even for simple tasks, and that also results in unnecessary license costs and expenditures. And inefficient workflows lead to excessive time and resource consumption. So the features we're going to focus on here are unified platform. That reduces infrastructure costs by consolidating tools and automating workflows. Elimination of those third-party systems. So decreasing dependencies on third-party systems necessarily reduces license costs and other operational expenses. And finally, the addition of predictive analytics that optimizes resource allocations, and that ensures that costs are kept under control. So in our final area of improvement, we're going to focus on what is the value of centralized data management. So we know from the study that centralizing customer data and service workflows eliminate those costly data silos. So eliminating those silos gives agents instant context, enables faster resolution, and empowers intelligent routing. And that is generally the foundation for almost every measurable impact that was in the study. And so where agencies are typically starting from, they don't have real-time insights. So it makes it both difficult to track revenue generation if you need to do that. But more importantly, what operational improvements can be made. So with predictive analytics and AI insights, you can proactively identify those high cost areas and suggest optimizations for those areas. It streamlines workflows by providing AI recommendations so you can task prioritize and manage workloads better. And then finally, better scheduling of activities and utilization of personnel resources can do things like reducing unnecessary travel and on-site visits and the costs that are associated with those. So let's take a look at a demo of some out-of-the-box reporting.
All right, let's see. Okay, so as Susan mentioned, this is just the out-of-box reporting that you would get from Dynamics 365 customer service. So this comes in, it allows you to get a lot of detailed information across the different channels that are available to you. And then you'll just see these are insights that you don't really have to do anything to set this up to get that kind of information. So if you're trying to get insights that can help you figure out how to improve your operations, there's a lot that comes out of box. I'm going to go ahead and hit
Dynamics 365 Contact Center provides a holistic set of analytical reports across the entire contact center data set. Let's take a deeper look at some of the individual dashboards within the analytical reporting. The Conversation Dashboard gives you a broad overview of the customer service experience in your organization. It uses AI to surface insights into the topics that generate the highest volume and the topics that are emerging, with the fastest increase in volume. The dashboard includes various charts with graphical views of your organization's key performance indicators. The charts for conversation volume drivers and emerging conversation volume by topic use natural language understanding to group support conversations as topics which are defined as a collection of related conversations. These charts display the customer support topics that generated the most volume, as well as emerging topics that increased rapidly in volume. By default, the dashboard shows you the KPIs for the past month and for all channels, queues, and agents in your system. You can use the data filtering options to select data for a specific time period, channel, queue, agent, conversation status, and time zone. Next, let's take a look at the queue dashboard. The queue dashboard gives you a broad overview of the customer service experience in your organization by providing insights into how specific queues are operating. By default, the dashboard shows key performance indicators or KPIs for the past month and for all channels, queues, and agents in your system. You can use the data filtering options to select data for specific time periods, channels, queues, agents, conversation status, and time zone. Next, the agent dashboard shows charts and KPIs that you can use to guide agents and understand overall agent performance. The agent drill-down view provides supervisors with a holistic look into individual agent performance on metrics and can be valuable in training or coaching scenarios for agents. To access the drill-down view, select any metric value for the agent you're interested in, and then select Details. Use the back button to come back to the main view from a Details view. The Details button and Hourly button are in disabled mode by default and get enabled only when a metric is selected. The bot dashboard shows key performance indicators, KPIs, and charts for chat and IVR bots. You can use the dashboard to understand how bots are performing in a support organization. The Metrics by Bot section displays a comprehensive set of analytics that show you the key performance indicators. The Topics dashboard shows a detailed breakdown of cases and their assigned topics. Customer Service Insights uses AI-generated topics and natural language understanding to automatically group your cases, which helps you understand how different case types and topic areas affect your organization's support performance. Dynamics.
All right, Susan, handing it back to you.
Thanks. So let's take a look at a business case. This was for a large health and human services organization. So they had $1 billion budget, 4 million cases, and 2,000 case managers. And so I'm not going to go through everything in detail. Instead, I'm going to focus on those hours saved. And so those hours saved are really the translation of the value dollars for reduced handling time, reduced case volume, and reduced cost to serve and productivity, faster time to productivity. So that 699,000 hours saved annually for those 2,000 agents represented about a 17% efficiency improvement. So if, just to kind of give you some context, so if that was, they worked 2,080 hours per year, that's 350 hours per year saved, or 8.7 weeks. And then moving up to the top, the citizen satisfaction, the results of improving citizen satisfaction. So we know that we're going to improve resident satisfaction with faster response times, better access and engagement, and proactive sentiment monitoring. But how do we tie legal and compliance costs to improve citizen satisfaction? So I'm going to explain to you how that is. So there is a positive correlation between customer satisfaction and trust. When you improve customer satisfaction, it correlates with an increase in trust and a decreased anxiety in government services. So for each percentage point that you improve customer satisfaction, you're increasing trust in federal and state agencies. Yes, it is something that can be measured by up to 2 percentage points. And then that trust then has a positive correlation with compliance efficiency. So higher public trust in government agencies lead to an increased voluntary compliance with regulations. And that in turn reduces the need for extensive enforcement actions and a reduction in associated legal cost. So let's take a look at a case study. So this is, we move to the next one. This is New Zealand's Department of Internal Affairs, and so they manage all citizen and passport applications. When they started, they had disconnected paper-based systems for all of those applications, citizen and passport applications. They had manual data entry and limited tracking, and that resulted in really high operational costs. They had no unified customer view, and that led to poor service experiences. So when they moved over to Dynamics 365, they implemented Power Pages for self-service, and that reduced manual processes and improved accessibility. They deployed Power Automate in Azure for workflow automation, and they created a unified customer-centric system, and that provided faster and easier access to services. And the results were pretty remarkable. They had a 50% improvement in processing time for 85% of passports. And they had a massive move to online applications, which of course reduced cases. They had an 89% improvement in online citizenship applications and a 42% improvement in online passport applications. And then that, of course, moved to self-service portals and workflow automation, directly improved the resident satisfaction, it reduced case volumes, and enhanced the productivity for the entire agency. And so with that, I'm going to hand it back to Deb to close us out.
Fantastic. Thank you, Susan. Thank you, Richa and Dan, for helping our customers see these capabilities and understand the business value in optimizing their service delivery. So how can we help you get started? Well, I would recommend that you engage with your business applications account team. You can scan this QR code or click on the link here and provide your information and how you'd like to be contacted, and I'll make sure it gets routed to the right team. You can also opt into a meeting with one of our aligned partners to start an assessment. This assessment, or otherwise known as a discovery session, will help us to determine your current state and how the features in customer service can enhance your service operations, and then help start quantifying the business value associated for your particular organization. We have lined up 4 of our key partners to help you optimize your service delivery. They work with state and local governments on a regular basis, and they know your challenges and understand your desired outcomes. They've also have proven successfully implemented Microsoft's full range of customer service capabilities. So I'll run through the 4 here quickly. My colleague Wendy, she will also drop the link and the partner overviews in the chat here. If we can go to the first one, this is EY, and they have given many customers an accelerated start with their customer experience accelerator for government. This accelerator is government specific, and it's for multi-channel case management, intelligent triage, and reporting. And they give our customers a quick start in implementing. The next one is HSO, who has assisted many governments, including Florida Department of Agriculture and Elder Affairs, as well as LA County Public Health and Ramsey County in their service delivery methods. And third, we've got RSM, who has worked with many of our health and human service agencies, as well as City of Cornwall and their 311 services. And then lastly, T-Tech, who implements a range of capabilities based on your maturity, from basic case management to omni-channel to self-service capabilities and everything in between. So they're very programmatic in their approach and can fit any SLG organization, where you are in your maturity in service delivery, as well as your budget. So those 4 partners are ready to help. And if you go back click on that link that Wendy put in the chat, you can go ahead and opt in for a follow-up and we'll be in touch. With that, I'm going to go ahead, stop the recording, and open up